What you don't know can hurt you. HireItDone.com.
Anyone can dance their way in like Adam does if you're feeling the need.
Welcome back to the Hire It Done Roofing Roundtable. My name's Adam Helfman. We've got three of the Hire It Done roofers here: American Standard Roofing, Northwest Construction, and Peaks Construction in studio. Let me direct this question to Terry Burke from Northwest Construction. Terry, earlier Arnie said sometimes there are homeowners who just say, hey, I just need you to, leave me a quote. And, listen, to sometimes you got to, oblige if it's a homeowner serious and then you know that you might want to do that. But there's also the counterpoint to that. And Terry, you made up a good point at the break about the inspection. What's involved in, first of all, what's involved in when you go to the house, and then how long should you be there?
Well, part of the answer is in Adam Helfman's tagline, what you don't know can hurt you. It's critical that the client invest the time to meet the contractor that's going to provide a detailed inspection of the house, problem solving. Find out what the problem is with a physical inspection and then produce solutions.
So a physical inspection is what? Give me like 5 items that you must do for every roof job.
In some cases, you can ascend or climb the roof. Other times you can't for insurance and liability reasons. But it's critical to take the time to inspect the attic for ventilation, soffit ventilation, attic air intake, addressing exhaust fans from bathrooms that pump a tremendous amount of moisture into the attic. And without that physical inspection, your roofing ventilation system is at risk. And
so
as
that's
you
a good
know,
point.
The warranty is predicated on proper ventilation, which is not roof vents. It's a complete system.
So for all the homeowners out there, this is super important what Terry from Northwest just brought up. Ventilation, intake, exhaust is just as important as the shingle itself. Is that a safe statement, Terry?
It's absolutely accurate. It is the insurance for the warranty. Without ventilation, your warranty is only a piece of paper.
That is a very good point.
So typically when a homeowner calls you out to the house and you're there to inspect the attic and the roof and then present to them why they should use your company, how long are you there?
Typically, an hour is adequate.
Okay, so think about this, folks. If he says an hour, and I agree, you should be in and out an hour because you're a professional and that's what you guys do. If the homeowner has more questions, that'll extend it. However, if a homeowner is getting 8 and 9 bids, now it makes sense.
It's a full-time job.
What Arnie Goodman says is, after 3 hour and a half, 2 hour sessions with these guys who start at $30,000 for the roof, and then we're going to have a sale and half off labor.
Put a sign up.
Put the sign up. Right. Let me call my manager, and now it's $14,000. They get frustrated, and that's what we don't do here at Hire It Done. Is we don't allow any of that, so it's a better buying experience. So let me direct the question to Brad. So you agree first, Brad, about hour and a half at the homeowner's house?
Yeah, about an hour.
And so what about the inspection? You like that idea, checking out how much insulation, intake, exhaust?
The attic inspection's the biggest one, like he said. Making sure everything's balanced, making sure everything's right, because our warranties are never going to cover otherwise. And why are you going to spend $10,000, $12,000 with no warranty?
So when a shingle, let me ask you this, when a shingle starts to curl up, and that's typically what a lot of people have, the curling shingles. That's a result of
usually improper ventilation.
And so the ventilation, folks, for everyone out there is, if you're standing outside your house, you have a soffit vent, and that's at the overhangs, correct?
Correct.
And then the air goes into the soffit vent, into the attic, and then out the top of the attic, which we call the ridge. And there's either a ridge cap or a roof cap. And those are usually on the back side of the roof, typically.
Typically, yes.
Okay. So there's a scientific formula for that as well. Am I correct?
Right. Usually it's 2 to 1 on most shingle manufacturers out there today.
And so, okay. So now let me address this to the group. Everyone knows there's different shingles: Certainty, Tamco, GAF, Owens Corning, and they all have a really good shingle. Am I right to say that?
No. There are some inexpensive, cheap shingles out there, and to Arnie's point, sometimes you'll get a client that their primary concern is cost, and then they're at the mercy of the contractor that may quote an inferior product. So if you deal with the Hire It Done contractors, you're going to deal with a pool of men and women that will provide good products, properly installed.
Yeah. So that's my point. And Arnie, I'll get your opinion on this. I believe that guys in this room right here and all the Hire It Done contractors, I believe that you're not going to sell a crap shingle to a homeowner, that you're going to give them the brand that you stand behind. And Arnie, is that true?
Adam, if you don't stand behind your product, there's no point in being there. Anything you put on that client's roof, the shingle is only as good as the installation.
Perfect.
And as everybody in this room agrees, if it's not a combination, there's no one product that's going to provide a roof for any client.
It's a system.
It takes ventilation. It takes the right shingle. Takes the right install crew. I mean, let's face it, guys. No matter what we sell our client, it could be the most expensive, heaviest shingle in the market. If it's not installed and vented properly, it's useless, okay?
That makes
So
our
important.
point. Yeah.
Right. So we have to look at that client. We have to assess and keep in mind budget, okay? Budget. We can't assume that every client can spend top money, okay? We've got clients that are living on fixed income. We have to be able to provide our client a minimum 30-year system at their budget, vented properly, installed properly. That's what our clients are coming to us for.
And that's important. So again, this simple formula to get a roof that doesn't leak, okay? And that's what we want to do is keep it simple, is I'm going to tell the audience it's more important to pick the right contractor than it is the brand. Is that safe to say in the room?
I would agree.
And I
would
think
agree.
to go on that, regardless of your type of shingle that you choose, from the lowest to the highest, it's the installation
There's,
that you
there's
have
no
to worry
question.
about. So
Look, if we need to, we can take a inexpensive shingle,
exactly,
vent it properly, install it properly. It will perform, okay?
that's the point.
It may not give you the look of a boutique shingle, okay? But a boutique shingle is not what everybody is looking for.
Correct.
Okay?
Right. There's certain houses that just like a 3-tab and you're fine.
Yeah.
Well, you know, a dimensional shingle is almost a standard now, okay? You know, let's face it, price-wise and everything else, you know, it puts a 3-tab to shame. But the range that's available is mind-boggling. I mean, how can we expect a client to stand there and pick from over 200 different selections?
Right, and that's a good point. Let me ask Brad, what's the most popular shingle you're installing right now?
We're installing Certainty.
Certainty, and is it a dimensional? Is there a certain level of it?
We're using an architectural, we're using a standard Landmark, and we're using a Landmark Pro right now. Those are our two biggest. So.
And so you prefer Certainty, and you're certified through them.
Correct. We are. My guys are. So we're able
all
to give
the
all the
employees.
warranties with it, all the systems with it, and be able to stand behind it.
And the warranty typically is on average how long?
They're all limited lifetime, so they're all based a little different, just the way the warranties are written today. So
Do you bring all the samples with you when you come out that the owners can choose that day if they?
Oh, we
Wow.
always carry samples with us.
good.
Always.
Right, makes sense. Terry, Terry Burke from Northwest Construction. What's the most popular shingle you're putting on right now?
Our primary product would be the GAF Timberline high definition, but in the field of roofing suppliers, manufacturers, the big three, Certainty is a wonderful product. The Landmarks, the GAF Timberline series, the Owens Corning Duration. There are some good brand shingles out there.
But if they're not
back to
installed
Arnie's point,
properly-
properly installed, yes,
If they're not, they're worthless.
critical.
That's the key. And folks, this is our point. It's more important, and this is my opinion, and you know, again, the manufacturer's going to be like, well, you know, I don't know, Adam. I'm like, well, it's more important to pick the contractor. He's not going to put a crappy shingle on your roof, even if the budget is tight. So, Arnie, you said dimensional. Is there any particular brand, or you pretty much can go with whatever homeowners like?
Adam, GAF, Certainty, Owens Corning, they're all brand recognizable, okay? But truth be told, I'm going to say 70% of our clients really are not educated in the shingle. And also keep in mind, if you're comfortable with a contractor and that contractor is recommending and comfortable with a brand of shingle, trust that contractor, okay? We work with that product every day. Also keep in mind, very important, a lot of our clients say, well, you know, is the manufacturer going to stand behind the product? Well, of course they are. But you need to rely on your contractor to stand behind the product. Worry about that before the manufacturer. Your first connection is with the contractor. If there's a problem, you need a contractor that's going to stand behind it. Okay.
Can I ask you a question? So certain brands of roofing have certain, like your
Certainty.
Certainty, but you had to have that special training by that particular brand, correct?
Right.
So when you're a homeowner, you need to ask those questions, because if it's not installed properly by someone who's been certified
Absolutely.
by that type of roof,
for
they're not going
knowledge-
to be able to get the warranty.
And for everyone listening, if in order to become a hired done roofer, you have to be certified by any of the manufacturers. So you have to have that status, whether it's
But
Master
that's a
Elite,
question
GAF.
people need to ask.
Well, absolutely. In fact, that's the other end of the hired done spectrum, and that's what I want to start to talk about. Two things. One, the relationship the contractors have with the distribution. We have, ABC. We got our guys at Wimsat. You got Square Deal. Allied. We got Allied. That's right. So, and they all want to service you, and they're all competing for your business. Okay. And when they compete for your business, I'll get the shingles there within hours of you calling, really. Well, we want to know that. But the other half is what Hired Done sends to the homeowner that prepares them for your visit. And those are important items that I want to talk about right now, because one of the things that homeowners, and this is what changed the industry, and at least I believe is a disruption. I call it a disruption. Hire It Done sends a homeowner. So homeowner says, I need a new roof, Adam. Send me some guys. What we do is we then send the address to our satellite company. We take a satellite photo of your house, and we then send you a report. The homeowner gets a report that says your house has this many shingles. And with waste, 10%, 12%, 15%, this is how much shingles you should be using. So that way you have a guide, folks, for what the amount you're being charged for. Back in the day, I used to call homeowners and say, hey, how's it going? And they would be like, Adam, one guy was this and one guy was that. And I was trying to figure out why the price differentiation was. And it was the amount of squares that each guy was pricing. And a square on your roof is 10 by 10, right? So now the homeowner knows how many squares they are. And what it's been doing is it's allowing to level the playing field. So all the contractors are now competing on the same amount. And the percentage of waste, folks, is based upon the roof pitch. Okay, so if you have a higher roof pitch, there's a little bit more waste. Now, it also, an unintended benefit to Hire Done was there are contractors out there who are not part of Hire Done who will tell the homeowner, Mrs. Jones, you have 75 squares on your roof.
And they would have no idea.
Homeowners don't go on the roof, right? They don't know. But then the Hire Done contractors say, okay, you have 41 squares. And they're like, wait a minute, this guy said 75. I said, well, what did he offer you? Well, it was half off. 2 for 1, 99 cents a foot.
Such a deal.
Right? And so I said, oh my God, I had the aha moment. That's what these guys do. They lie. And have you guys come across that? Why are you only charging me for 44 squares? The other guy said 70. Have you had that happen, Terry?
Occasionally, not as much as we used to, though. And like you said, the game changer is satellite imaging.
And that allows us not to have to go on the roof. Arnie, you use a satellite report on all your projects.
Absolutely.
You can even, in fact, we tell our contractors you can order the shingles off of the Hire It Done roof report.
Well, I've
Although
run
measured
into
twice.
I've run into some clients that say, well, we've got a bid from this contractor, but he never had to come to the house because he had the satellite image. Well, that's nonsense. Okay.
Well, don't you have to come inside? and
Well,
check?
that's like going to the dentist and not having to open your mouth.
Well, with the satellite misses sections, too.
Well,
right?
the satellite,
That's true.
right? And the satellite can't tell you about ventilation. It can't tell you how many layers. There's just, and it can't tell you what the client needs. Okay, so the satellite imagery is
just a tool.
phenomenal, but it is. You're right. It's a tool.
It's a piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Which makes sense. So, Brad, let me ask you this: how important is it to have a good relationship with your distribution network?
It's the biggest thing out there is making sure you can get what you need when you need it. And if you have a good relationship with them, especially the bigger contractors like all of us that are sitting here, we need material when we need it, and they move it for us when we need it.
And so that means, obviously, if you have Mrs. Jones's job scheduled for Monday, yesterday or Friday or today, because they're open Saturdays, do they know that they're delivering Monday morning, or do you call Monday morning? I need it down. How does that work?
Typically, we order on Monday for the entire week, unless we know there's rain in the forecast, and then I won't bunch up a bunch of houses. But we try to get them out on Monday, get all our orders over, and give them set days to deliver, so that when the crews get there, the material's there, our dumpsters are there, our permits are in place, so that when we do get there, we can do our job and we can get in and out. There's a lot of inspections too.
Yeah, there's all kinds of moving parts. So how far away? If someone calls you Monday, I need a roof. When are you ready to start?
Depends on the condition of the roof. I just took one yesterday. We loaded it today. We're doing it on Monday because it's leaking in the house.
So if there's a leak, What about you, Terry? How
Typically, if the standard rotation is probably 3 weeks or
Okay.
so, and but because guys like us, we're here to help clients. I've done the next day installs for people with a big hole in their house.
right? And you can
or
you'll tarp up roofs as
Emergency
well,
tarp service, if they're signed up, we don't charge them for that if they're in the queue.
which makes perfect sense. All right, we're going to take a quick break, folks. When we come back, I want to talk more about how to get a roof that doesn't leak. Let's keep it simple for homeowners and why it makes sense to go with this. And then I also want to talk about this new SBS shingles and the 50-year and windproof stuff as well. I'm Adam Helfman. We'll be right back